Picture a totally normal morning. You get up, pour your coffee, head out to the garage, and plug in your electric car before leaving for work. 15 minutes later, just enough time to skim the headlines, your car is sitting at a full charge. You pull out and drive 500 miles without a single stop. No range anxiety, no nagging worry that the car will be worth nothing in a few years. And after 15 years on the road, the battery still performs like it's almost brand new. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. It isn't. This is the future Tesla says it's building, and not just as a flashy promise with nothing behind it. For years, the common wisdom was that traditional lithium-ion batteries had basically hit their ceiling, that chemistry had taken us about as far as it could, and that any real leap forward was still 2 or 3 decades away. But the timeline is shifting faster than almost anyone expected. In early 2025, Tesla quietly pushed through a series of technical changes that, according to several industry analysts, could turn out to be the biggest shift in EV battery history since the first Model S hit the road back in 2012. This isn't a minor tweak or a routine optimization. It's a fundamentally different approach to the battery problem, touching everything from materials to structure to the manufacturing process itself. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Pacific, BYD, the Chinese giant that's outsold Tesla in EVs for several quarters running, suddenly found itself facing a rival that wasn't just catching up anymore, but charging ahead with a completely different kind of breakthrough. So what exactly makes Tesla's new battery tech such a big deal that the whole industry is paying attention? Why is BYD, long seen as the dominant force in global EV sales, suddenly feeling the heat? Is this really the turning point that reshapes the entire auto industry, or just another case of Elon Musk's promises outrunning what the engineering can actually deliver? Before we dig in, if you're into deep dive videos on tech and EVs like this one, go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications, because what's coming next in this industry is something you really don't want to miss. Where does the battery industry stand right now, and why does it need a shakeup? To understand why Tesla's new tech is such a big deal, it helps to zoom out and look at the broader EV battery landscape, and honestly, it's not all rosy. EVs have exploded over the last decade, with global sales jumping from under 1 million vehicles in 2015 to more than 14 million in 2023. But underneath that growth, there are still some stubborn problems the industry hasn't cracked. The first is driving range. Things have gotten a lot better, but plenty of drivers still deal with range anxiety, that nagging fear of running out of charge mid-trip. For Americans in suburban or rural areas where a normal day might mean covering hundreds of miles with charging stations few and far between, this is a real practical concern, not a minor annoyance. The second is charging speed. Fast charging tech has come a long way, but going from 20% to 80% still takes at least 20 to 30 minutes, even on the quickest systems out there. Compare that to the 5 minutes it takes to fill a gas tank, and you can see there's still a big gap in the everyday experience. The third issue gets talked about less, but it matters just as much: battery degradation. After 8 to 10 years, an EV battery can lose 20 to 30% of its original capacity. That's not just a range problem. It also feeds anxiety around resale value, which is a sore spot for American buyers used to gas-powered cars, holding their value reasonably well over time. The fourth is cost. The battery alone makes up roughly 30 to 40% of an EV's total price tag. For electric cars to genuinely compete with gas vehicles in that mid-range bracket, under $35,000, the industry needs to bring battery costs down to a level nobody has managed to hit sustainably yet. These 4 problems are what hundreds of companies, thousands of researchers, and billions of dollars in funding are wrestling with every single day. Which is exactly why, when Tesla says it's found a new way forward, the whole world tends to lean in and listen. But to really get why this matters, we need to look at the heart of the story, what Tesla is calling its next-generation battery. Tesla's new battery tech, more than just a better battery pack. You've probably heard the term solid-state battery thrown around in plenty of videos and articles already. It sounds familiar, but don't assume Tesla's version is the same thing you've heard about before. First, let's talk about why ordinary lithium-ion batteries, the kind in almost every EV today, have limits. Inside a typical lithium-ion cell, lithium ions travel through a liquid electrolyte to generate current. That liquid comes with baggage. It's flammable, it breaks down over time, and it loses efficiency as temperatures swing. That's part of why EV batteries perform worse in cold weather and why they slowly degrade after hundreds of charge cycles. A solid-state battery swaps that liquid out for a solid material, usually a ceramic or specialized polymer. In theory, this gets you much higher energy density, a longer lifespan, better safety, and steadier performance across a wider range of temperatures. Simple in concept, but for nearly 20 years, the industry has struggled to actually make solid-state batteries work at commercial scale. The core issue, every time you charge and discharge a solid-state battery, the contact point between the solid electrolyte and the electrode starts to crack, and those tiny fractures gradually kill the battery's ability to conduct electricity. Tesla isn't the first to spot this problem, but it may be the first to actually solve it at industrial scale. Based on patents Tesla filed in 2024 and 2025, along with reports from several industry sources, the company is using something called a dry electrode process paired with a new generation of sulfide-based solid electrolyte material. This doesn't just fix the durability issue. More importantly, it also makes production dramatically cheaper. Most other companies build solid-state batteries using a wet process that depends on expensive, complicated chemical solvents. Tesla's dry process skips that step entirely, which means a leaner, cheaper, and faster production line. Here's the twist, though. Tesla didn't actually invent the dry electrode process. It picked up the technology by acquiring a small company called Maxwell Technologies back in 2019, then spent nearly 6 years turning that lab-grade tech into something that could actually be mass-produced. So what came out of those 6 years of work? It sounds like a small detail, but it might be exactly the thing that changes the whole game. The real breakthrough, 3 numbers that shook the industry. To understand why this matters, look at the 3 benchmarks Tesla is chasing and how they stack up against today's reality. Number 1, 500 watt-hours per kilogram. Energy density, how much energy you can pack into a single kilogram of battery, is the single most important number in EV batteries. The best lithium-ion batteries on the market today land somewhere around 250 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram. Tesla's new solid-state generation is designed to hit 500 watt-hours per kilogram, almost double. In practical terms, that means a car with the same battery weight could go nearly twice as far, or it could keep the same range with a battery pack half the size, making the vehicle lighter, more efficient, and cheaper to build. Number 2, a full charge in 15 minutes. If Tesla actually pulls this off, it could erase pretty much the last excuse people have for not switching to electric. Solid-state batteries can handle much faster charging than liquid-based ones because they don't overheat the same way. Tesla's target is going from 10% to 90% in 15 minutes using a 350 kilowatt charger, hardware that's already standard at many Tesla supercharger stations. Number 3. A million-mile lifespan. This might be the most jaw-dropping figure of all. A standard lithium-ion battery is built to handle roughly 500 to 1,000 charge cycles before it drops to 80% capacity. Tesla claims its new battery can survive more than 3,000 cycles, the equivalent of over 1 million miles of driving. That's not just useful for personal cars. It opens the door for trucks, buses, and especially robo-taxis, which need to run around the clock. But numbers alone don't mean much. What matters just as much is whether you can actually manufacture the thing at scale. Gigafactories and the mass production challenge. This is where Tesla holds an edge that doesn't get talked about enough: manufacturing infrastructure. The company runs Gigafactory Nevada, the largest battery plant in the world by floor space, alongside gigafactories in Texas, Berlin, and Shanghai. These aren't just assembly lines, they're essentially industrial-scale labs where Tesla is constantly testing and refining its processes. Because the dry electrode process doesn't need the ultra-expensive clean rooms or toxic solvents that traditional battery manufacturing relies on, costs don't climb in a straight line as Tesla scales up, they tend to drop along the learning curve instead. Elon Musk has said more than once that the hardest part isn't designing the product itself, but designing the factory that builds the product. In this case, Tesla has had 6 years to work on both at the same time. According to several industry consultant estimates, if Tesla hits its target cost of $60 per kilowatt hour for the new battery, compared to today's $100 to $120 per kilowatt hour for top-tier lithium-ion, the production cost of a Model 3 or Model Y could drop below $30,000 while remaining profitable. That's the threshold the entire EV industry has been chasing for years. At this point, you might be wondering why nobody's pulled this off already. The honest answer: plenty of companies have tried and most have come up short. Let's be real about the hurdles Tesla is still facing. Challenge 1. The dry electrode process still isn't fully stable at large scale. Tesla has admitted in several quarterly reports that scaling this up from pilot runs to mass production has been tougher than expected. Back in 2023, the company set a goal of 100 gigawatt-hours of new generation batteries by year's end and fell well short. This wouldn't be the first deadline Tesla has missed. Challenge 2. Sulfide electrolyte materials don't play well with moisture. These compounds, which Tesla is believed to be using, are extremely sensitive to humidity, and even normal exposure to air can damage them. That means manufacturing has to happen in an ultra-dry environment, expensive and hard to maintain at industrial scale. Challenge 3. The dendrite problem still isn't fully solved. This is the oldest headache in solid-state battery design. Repeated charge cycles can cause tiny metallic threads called dendrites to form and poke through the solid electrolyte layer, causing internal short circuits and, in the worst case, fires. Scientists have cut this risk down significantly, but nobody has eliminated it completely. Challenge 4. Cold weather is still a weak spot. Solid-state batteries beat liquid ones in plenty of ways, but they still lose performance in extreme cold, which matters a lot for drivers in northern U.S. states where winters can dip below -20 degrees Celsius. Challenge 5. Competition from other technologies. While Tesla bets on solid-state, other automakers are putting their chips on improved lithium iron phosphate batteries, sodium-ion batteries, or even aluminum-air batteries. There's no guarantee Tesla's chosen path ends up being the winner, which brings us to the bigger picture, because Tesla is far from the only company trying to own the future of batteries. What are BYD, Toyota, and the other giants up to? When it comes to BYD, you have to give credit where it's due. In 2023, for the first time ever, BYD outsold Tesla in electric vehicles, not by a small margin either, topping 1.5 million units sold that year. BYD isn't just an automaker, it builds its own batteries too, specifically lithium iron phosphate cells under the Blade battery name. Blade battery solves two major problems: safety, since it doesn't catch fire as easily as conventional lithium batteries in most situations, and cost, since iron phosphate chemistry skips the expensive cobalt and nickel. BYD isn't stopping there either. In late 2024, the company announced it's developing its own solid-state battery, aiming to bring it to market by 2027. On top of that, it's pouring money into ultra-fast charging, specifically a 1,000-volt system that can add 400 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's not a typo. So who's actually winning this race? It depends entirely on what you're measuring. By current sales, BYD has the edge. By charging infrastructure, Tesla wins. The supercharger network is still the largest and most dependable in North America. By software and AI integration, Tesla is clearly ahead, with autopilot and full self-driving still leading the pack. By overall production cost, BYD has the advantage in the budget and mid-range segments. And by future battery potential, that's the biggest question mark of all. Toyota, somewhat surprisingly, has poured tens of billions of dollars into solid-state battery research and says it plans to launch a commercial vehicle with the technology by 2027 to 2028. Toyota brings decades of manufacturing know-how and a massive global dealer network to the table, but it's often seen as moving more cautiously through the shift to electrification. Panasonic, Tesla's longtime battery partner, is in the race too, building a new factory in Kansas to start supplying next-gen batteries to Tesla in 2026. QuantumScape, a startup backed by Volkswagen, is one of the most closely watched names in solid-state battery development, though it's wrestling with similar scaling headaches. And over in South Korea, Samsung SDI and LG Energy Solution, two of the biggest battery suppliers on the planet, are also developing their own solid-state designs under contract with several major automakers. This isn't a two-way race at all. It's a marathon with a crowded field running on a track where the rules keep getting rewritten. If Tesla pulls this off, what does the world actually look like? Let's walk through a hypothetical, but a grounded one, not science fiction. Say it's 2028 and Tesla has successfully scaled its new solid-state battery. Costs have fallen to $60 to $70 per kilowatt hour. A base Model 3 runs $27,000 before tax. Range hits 500 miles on a single charge. Charging to 80% takes under 20 minutes. What happens next? For American consumers, the barrier to going electric basically disappears. Pricing competes head-on with gas cars, range anxiety is gone, and charging time stops being a real inconvenience. According to Bloomberg NEF's modeling, a scenario like this could push EV market share in the U.S. past 60% by 2030, compared to the 25 to 30% currently forecast. For the oil industry, gasoline and diesel demand from transportation, currently around 40% of global oil demand, would start declining at a pace that's hard to reverse. Major oil companies are already watching this closely, and many analysts expect peak oil demand could now arrive a full decade earlier than previously projected. For the power grid, a surge in EV adoption would put real strain on the system, especially with millions of cars charging at once. But it also opens up an opportunity. EVs could double as mobile grid batteries, feeding power back during peak demand through vehicle-to-grid tech. Tesla has already piloted this in Australia and parts of Europe. For BYD and Chinese automakers, if Tesla truly leads on solid-state technology, Chinese manufacturers, who currently win on cost, would face fresh competitive pressure. But don't underestimate how fast they can catch up. China is pouring roughly $15 billion a year into battery R&D, a figure that rivals any country on Earth. For the labor market, solid-state battery plants may demand a different skill set than traditional lithium-ion factories. That could open new doors for highly skilled engineers and technicians while creating real challenges for current battery workers who will need to retrain. And for robo-taxis and autonomous transport, maybe the biggest, least discussed shift of all, Elon Musk has repeatedly said Tesla's future isn't just about selling cars, it's about running autonomous fleets. With a battery rated for 1 million miles, the robo-taxi business model suddenly looks a lot more realistic, with a single vehicle able to run for years without ever needing a battery swap. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the limits of traditional lithium-ion batteries to Tesla's dry electrode process, to some genuinely shocking numbers on energy density and lifespan, to the technical hurdles still standing in the way, and finally to what the future could look like if everything goes according to plan. So what's the real takeaway? It's not just that Tesla is building a better battery, it's that if Tesla succeeds, the entire competitive landscape of the auto industry shifts. Cost, performance, and user experience, the three things that ultimately decide market share, could all move at once, in the same direction, at a speed nobody can fully predict. BYD knows this. Toyota knows this. Volkswagen knows this. That's exactly why they're all pouring billions into the solid-state race. Not because they want to, but because they have no real choice if they want to survive the next decade of the auto industry. But let's stay honest. There's still a lot we don't know. Tesla has made big promises before and missed deadlines. The Cybertruck, the new Roadster, the solar roof, full self-driving. There's no guarantee the solid-state battery arrives on schedule or that costs drop fast enough to outpace BYD or Toyota. And the broader EV market still hinges on factors no single company controls. Tariffs, raw material prices, how quickly charging infrastructure gets built out, and just as importantly, consumer habits, which tend to shift far more slowly than the technology itself. One thing, though, is clearer than ever. The race is on and there's no turning back now. The question isn't whether EVs will replace gas cars anymore. The real question is who ends up shaping the next generation of batteries, who controls the core technology behind the EV economy. And for the rest of us, the consumers who will be living with our car buying decisions for the next 10 or 15 years, who should we be betting on? That's not a question any one video can answer for good, but it's one worth sitting with. What do you think? Do you believe Tesla will actually deliver on its solid-state battery promises, or do you think BYD or someone else entirely crosses the finish line first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and genuinely want to hear your take. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Mystery Unravel Mysteries. Learn untold tales of history and stay in the exciting world of new discoveries.